Live from Gahanna, WGLH TV presents Lincoln Live with Olivia Doyle and Katie Bailey.
Beginning today, you can now be fined for texting. It's true. We sit down one-on-one with Governor DeWine to ask him about it.
April 4th is a national celebration, but it's one celebration where you're asked not to cheer out loud. We'll take you there.
St. Patrick's Day may be over, but our choir is still honoring St. Patrick.
Lincoln Live starts now.
Good morning, Lincoln. I'm Olivia Doyle.
And I'm Katie Bailey.
Katie, how you doing this morning?
You know, just getting back into the swing of things after break.
For sure. At midnight, a new law went into effect, and it impacts all of us.
In the state of Ohio, it is now illegal to use or hold a cell phone or any other electronic device in your hand, on your lap, or any other way that takes your eyes off the road.
Governor DeWine held a press conference yesterday to answer questions about the new law that makes distracted driving a primary offense, meaning they can now pull you over if they even see your phone.
Future Lincoln Live reporters and current members of the film and documentary class, Katrina Markle and Patience Doremus, were there.
Katrina had the opportunity to conduct a one-on-one interview with Governor DeWine and ask him about the new law.
The law it really indicates what the norms of society should be, what we expect. What we expect from drivers is that they drive and that they pay attention. I think that most of us, when we were 16, 17, 18 years of age, thought that nothing could happen to us and thought that, we were invincible. The sad truth is that just by the numbers, we see that that's simply not true, that we have drivers, teenage drivers, who every week in the state of Ohio are dying. So it can happen to you.
The new law does have a few exceptions for those 18 and over. They can use hands-free devices, but what can no longer be done?
That list includes dialing phone numbers, browsing the internet, playing games, sending texts, FaceTime, watching videos, or recording video.
So basically anything that takes your eyes off the road. Fines start at $150, a first offense.
Also, all of you drivers who are under 18 are still restricted from using your devices in any way, including hands-free features, and there's good reason for that.
We know that the fatality rate among teenagers is higher than it is among other groups. And, part of that is inexperience, don't have enough experience behind the wheel. There's other reasons. We also have some young people, who turn 18 have never had any kind of training at all, and then they go out and get their license. So distracted driving is certainly one of the reasons that we see, a high fatality rate, high accident rate among teenagers.
Thanks again for speaking with us. For a full explanation of the new law, go to phonesdown.ohio.gov.
Katrina also asked Governor DeWine about school safety following the recent school shooting here in Nashville.
We will have his response on Thursday's Lincoln Live. Switching over to our local news in our school, our Delina Hungvilai is standing live in the library with an important message about today's date. Good morning, Delina.
Good morning. April 4th is National School Librarians Day, and I'm here live in the library to highlight the hard work of our school librarian, Mrs. Gleek. It was such a pleasure to be able to do the story on her, and I am so thankful that she allowed me into her sacred space that is the library. Here it is. April 4th is National School Librarian Day, and Lincoln's librarian, Mrs. Gleek, is an unsung hero in these halls.
After that, so the author of Solito, which is a...
As Gahanna Lincoln High School alum, Mrs. Gleek knew that she wanted to inspire reading in the students at Lincoln, but the road to librarian was an unexpected one.
When I was in high school, I would have died if you told me that I was going to be a librarian one day. It wasn't until my freshman year of college that I realized that this is such an amazing thing, and so once I found those books I loved, then I realized that I'm not going to ever stop reading.
After finding her love for reading, Mrs. Gleek became a fantastic librarian, for more reasons than one.
Just by being in our school community, she encourages reading. You know, we live in an age where there's not a lot of money being funneled to schools, and so schools are cutting their librarians and their libraries. You know, she runs book clubs, she has activities going in the library that makes kids want to go there during their study halls and their lunches, and so just having that place here that is that kind of safe haven for a lot of kids in our building really just encourages that reading culture.
People don't assume like the amount of work that she does, but she goes through a lot to make sure that she can keep the library open, to make sure that people can get books and really get a connection. So she wants to make a space overall that's comfortable for everyone.
And creating comfortable space is extremely important to Mrs. Gleek, and it's something she loves doing.
I love working in the high school with students, and so that wakes me up every day to think about like who I get to talk to and help, whether it be a Chromebook issue or more fun, obviously, is finding books that make people into lifelong readers.
Not only does Mrs. Gleek inspire lifelong readers, but her job doesn't end there.
She has been a valuable resource to our English department. We are always going to her for recommendations. If we're looking for something really specific, like a character identity that we want to bring into our classroom to make sure more of our students are being seen.
While the library is many people's favorite places in the school, providing that place is one of Mrs. Gleek's favorite things about her job.
Truly, I think one of the best things is when I hand a book to a student and they come back and they're so excited because they enjoyed it as much as I did.
For many students and staff, Mrs. Gleek is more than a librarian.
I consider like her almost a mentor because she helps me a lot in terms of like keeping my stress low, and I take often a hard schedule, and she's really good at, you know, just telling me to breathe and also guiding me into great books that can help you really relax.
Mrs. Gleek is the best. She's so fun. And I teach English and I love to read, but working with her has made me love reading and love books more.
Mrs. Gleek inspires many students and teachers to read. And she has some advice to share about finding the motivation to read.
No one hates reading. We read all day long, every day. You read texts from your friend all the time. So it's not the act of reading that anyone hates. It's just the people who think they hate reading haven't found that book yet. So I think it's just a matter of finding that perfect book for each reader.
Just like readers finding a perfect book, Lincoln has found a perfect librarian. This National School Librarian Day, stop by the library and take time to appreciate Mrs. Gleek and all the work she does around the school. Once again, thank you, Mrs. Gleek, for giving me the opportunity to shine a spotlight on her. So make sure to stop by the library today and thank Mrs. Gleek, because she deserves it.
Thank you, Delina. Over spring break, while most were enjoying a restful time off, our Lincoln athletes were hard at work.
Almost every spring sport competed over the break, and some teams even leaving the state to compete.
We start our sports coverage with last night's tennis match.
Our varsity boys tennis team began their season last night at home against Reynoldsburg.
The boys walked off the court winning 5-0 with 9 out of 10 sets with a set score of 6-0. The boys take the court again tonight against Lancaster. Come out and support.
We caught up with varsity co-captain Quinn Smith about his thoughts on the win and what this win means for the rest of their season.
So last year we weren't the best team, so to start it off with a win and seeing how good everyone did out here was good to see. 6-0s mostly all around. I think it's going to be good for the rest of the season. I'm looking forward to it.
Our Lady Lions softball team is getting hyped for their home opener tonight against Licking Heights, which will be at the Blacklick Athletic Complex starting at 5:15. But over the break, they headed to Pigeon Forge and dominated all 4 games with a combined score of 45-0. As the Lady Lions offense was on target, their defense was held down by pitcher Ella Esterby. Esterby pitched 17.2 innings with a total of 38 strikeouts and has a current ERA of 0. She also completed another no-hitter, making it her 6th and breaking a school record. We caught up with Ella last night to talk about her experience at Pigeon Forge in tonight's game.
In Pigeon Forge, I did really well, but I wouldn't have been able to do it without my defense and my teammates. They're always there for me. Yeah, I had a lot of strikeouts, so that doesn't really give them a lot of balls in play, but the balls that they do get in play, they always there to back me up. It means a lot. We put in a lot of hard work this season, and it's been really difficult not having like our own field to go on. We've been shuffling between West and the turf here at Blacklick. Really get that feeling of being on a field, so I think we're all going to be ready, and I think it's going to be super great, and I think we're all going to have a great time.
Now let's move over to baseball. The team went down to Cocoa Beach, Florida over spring break to expand their competition. The team ended up going 3-2 over the week, and we caught up with junior catcher Benny Horrig about how the team did and how they are going to take this past week on to the rest of their season.
Gahanna baseball team went down to Cocoa Beach, Florida. We went 3-2 throughout the week. One of our captains, Adam Berger, had 3 home runs throughout the week, and the competition was very, very tough. But we did pretty well. But this past week will give us a lot of confidence for this game today.
Hey Katie, I think we have an athlete in the studio who also got to go to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
I believe you're right, and it's our very own beloved Ray Tadako.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ray. What do you got for us today?
So I'm actually going to talk about our choirs. So our choirs had an eventful spring break. They traveled to New York City and went to see Broadway shows, tour the city, and sing in both St. John the Divine and St. Patrick's Cathedral. It was a very memorable trip, and it was the first time our choir has taken a class trip. We want to showcase some of the video from the event. We'll have more from their performance on Thursday. Well, back to the lovely ladies at the news desk.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray. Well, that's all we have for you today, Lincoln.
Bye.
Bye.